Good morning, YouTubers and fellow Lutarians. Pyraxis here. I'm out here at Lake Lynn Dam, or also known as Cheat Lake Reservoir. And I thought I might drop a little line, go do a little fishing today, but it's kind of a little crowded here, so I think I'm going to go down river a ways. But thought you'd check out the area. It's a nice little place to go fishing. It's right on the border of southwestern Pennsylvania and West Virginia. In fact, right where that concrete trail goes down there is where the state line is, but they don't seem to mind either West Virginia or Pennsylvania fishermen fishing here. So been coming here for years. It's a nice place, you know, little Paw Paw patches here and there around here, so it's nice in the fall when something to snack on, and plus other things. But it's also where I see the bald eagles quite a bit. It's kind of gotten a little overgrown, but it's a good fishing spot. Just about every kind of fish you can imagine is here. So you can see it, get a little better view there. But like I said, I think I'm gonna go downriver a ways and see if I can't find a more secluded spot. Besides, the dam kind of makes a humming noise, which I'm sure would be annoying to have to deal with. So they even have a porta potty. It's a nice little area. So if you're in the area and you want a good little fishing spot, then well, this is a place to come and see it. I'm gonna go see if I can find me a good spot to set up at. Alright, so I've gone down from the dam a little ways, maybe not even a quarter of a mile or so, because there's another little parking lot down here. Just thought I'd look around and see what's here before I wet a line. Very interesting. See, we got some milkweed growing here. I hear you can eat the pods once they grow, but I've never tried them. We got a lot of wild roses all around here. The hips are good for vitamin C. Now this vine here, I'm not familiar with what this is. I'll have to look this one up. It's got white coloration on the leaves. It doesn't look like something I see everywhere. It just seems to be right in this patch. It's the first time I've really ever seen it, so I don't know what it is, but interesting. I should have brought my books with me. So, like I said, here's the wild roses, as you can see. And those flowers will all turn into little bulbs, and they're good to chew on, like I said, mostly for the vitamin C content. Looks like we might have a mulberry tree right here trying to grow. Now, that would be nice. And we got a sumac above me. We got some ash trees here. All kinds of grasses and everything. Some honeysuckle vine and some bindweed, which that stuff is freaking annoying as heck. Got a nice little second-year mullein plant, otherwise known as cowboy toilet paper. The leaves are softer than Charmin, so that's what the cowboys and stuff used to use for toilet paper. Of course, we got plenty of dandelions around. I've been nibbling on the flowers, and then we got some plantain growing, which is good for healing wounds and things like that. All kinds of stuff. Oh wow, we got some really tall red clover here too. Red clover's really tasty. I don't usually see it growing that high, or maybe it's sweet clover. There's no blossoms, so I can't tell for sure. I think the sweet clover has yellow blossoms, and the red clover obviously has red clover, but yeah, it's kind of nice. And then we got some dock over here, which people eat that. I've never tried it, but you know. So like I said, just looking around, seeing what there is to see. A lot of garbage here. I wish people would be more respectful. And, well, it looks like a... Oh no, it's not strawberry. The leaves look like strawberries, but it's not. They don't grow that way. I think this might even be some wild ginger over here. I'm not quite sure. Could be dock or something. Yeah, but it's kind of small, so I can't really tell. I'm not too familiar with wild ginger, though I know it grows in the area. A lot of stuff. I love this time of year because everything's so green and lush. There's like every kind of tree here. We got a black walnut right next to me. We got a elm tree here. Oh, we've got cherries, we've got sycamore. Oh, what are all these trees? A couple of poplars here and there. There's one that I'm looking at there. And yeah, downriver a little farther from here is also a bald eagle's nest that I took some photos of earlier, and the mama was sitting on her nest, so I'm assuming she had some eggs. You know, that was back before all the leaves came on the trees, and now couldn't even see the nest if I tried. So oh, there's a black locust or a honey locust, probably a black locust. A bunch of those around here too. A lot of other stuff I'm not familiar with, but I'm learning. Yeah, I'm learning, and actually I don't see any briar patches around. That's one of my favorite things to nibble on, is the tender briar patches. There's some garlic mustard though, and I like chewing on those leaves. They got a nice little tang to them. It's like they're also a biennial. They also have 2 years worth of growth. The first year of growth, the leaves are more round. Second year growth, the leaves take on a different shape. So, and just kind of like do your studying and know your stuff. So I'm gonna go ahead and set up the fishing poles down here, find me a nice little secluded spot. And I brought along my journal. Thought I'd share some of that while we're waiting for the fish to bite. So hopefully try to keep it a little interesting. I'll be back in a bit. Well, I just checked my gear and found that I forgot to bring along my darn fishing bait, my chicken livers. I got night crawlers, and I still could wet a line with those, but I kind of wanted to catch some catfish with chicken livers. So I think maybe I'll just forego the fishing today and do that tomorrow. Try to remember my bait tomorrow, and maybe come back then. Maybe there will be nobody at the dam. I don't know, we'll see. But figure might as well, since I'm out here, take a little hike down this trail and see if there's anything to see. So let's go on down the trail. Here's the river. Obviously, people of course graffiti and all that crap, but this is the Cheat River. It's a nice little clear water flowing. Most of the time it's clear water because the water comes right out of the dam. And right now it would be perfect to send my GoPro down there and see what kind of fishing activity is there. But I have one little fishing video on here already if you want to look at fish swimming around. So let's see what we got here. Yeah, it's definitely all overgrown. I got a nice little hickory tree here. Oh, what do we got there? Another elm. I just love going down this trail because it's really got a lot of interesting things to see along it. I've actually planted a few of the Paw Paw seeds in here, and some of them have sprouted, and of course none of them are big enough yet to actually produce fruit yet. It takes usually around 5 or 6 years or so. Now I don't know what this plant is, but I always see these little black berries which nothing seems to eat. So obviously I'm not gonna take a chance on, I don't know what they are. I haven't looked them up in my book yet, but yeah, they're always there. Every season they come through the whole winter time, and like I said, the birds don't seem to eat them. So a couple of ash trees, another black walnut. Yeah, some of these things are hard to tell apart. Okay. Not too many people actually come down in this little trail. I mean, some do, of course. Obviously, they drive their Jeeps or their trucks back here. But you do practically need four-wheel drive with all this crap in, the mud puddles and Renals pools. So I used to drive my truck back in here. I got my Jeep now, which would probably make it with no problems too, but don't want to bother. I'd rather just walk it. Oh, we got a little frog jumping in the water over there, and here we got one of our first Paw Paws. This one's a nicer one. This one was here. I didn't plant this one, but it's been growing for a while. It's got another year or two before it starts producing fruit, I think. Nice little butterfly there. Seems pretty damaged, but nice of him to stop and, let me take a quick little photo of him. And of course he flew off as soon as I took the camera away, so I guess he wanted his shining little moment. Oh, goodness gracious. A lot of deer tracks, so I know the deer around here. And we got some ferns back here, too, which is kind of nice. Another Paw Paw tree here. This one's a little bigger. I don't see any little fruit nodules on it, so must not have produced anything this year. But, yeah, it's certainly at the size where it's capable of producing some fruit. They don't get all that big as far as trees go. But anyone who knows me knows that I have a Paw Paw passion. There's another little Paw Paw back in there. A bunch of them, actually. A whole bunch of little ones, which is good because they need genetic diversity. There's another little one growing back there. Yeah, they're generally considered not self-fertile. They generally need two different genetic trees to produce fruit. But there are some varieties, like the sunflower cultivar, that is supposedly self-fertile. And technically, pretty much any of them can be self-fertile, theoretically. But usually if you only have a single Paw Paw tree, you're not going to get any fruit off of it. You got to get two different ones. And in case you don't know, the Paw Paw is North America's largest native fruit. It grows all over the east, everywhere, all the way from Canada all the way down to Florida. Couple different varieties, but the common Paw Paw, also known as Asimina triloba, it can be found mostly along large rivers, but you could actually find these trees just about anywhere. You got a nice little beech tree here. Somebody carved. People always like to carve on the beech trees, and something here is a dead tree. I don't know what that was. Probably a poplar. There's no bark on it though. It's like it's totally been shed of bark. Nice, beautiful sycamore there. Yeah, looks like we got, not sure what this one is, but looks like a cherry of some sort, but it's real healthy. And here's the river again. There's some Canadian geese out there. Let's see, there's about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There's 6 Canadian geese, and there's some kind of diving waterfowl out there sitting there with them in the group, or maybe it's just a baby Canadian goose. It's a little far away for me to actually tell what it is. So let's see if we can get a little closer. Probably just a baby. He was tipping, so I'm very fortunate to live in this area. Oh, a nice little redbud tree here too. Yep. This is pretty low water. A lot of times the water comes right up here to the edge where my shadow there is. So yeah, the water's pretty low this time of year. Oh, a lot more geese down there. And you can actually see the dam up there again. Like I said, I'm not too far downriver from the dam, but this is another little spot that a lot of people, they camp and they go fishing here. I've never had much luck here. It's pretty shallow, most of it, so. Nice little dandelion flower I think I'll munch on. I really like the taste of dandelions. A lot of Japanese knotweed over there, which is also edible, which is kind of good. You can harvest all you want because that stuff grows like, oh my God, it's so invasive, takes over everything. All that stuff on the other side of this little creek bed, that's all that is Japanese knotweed. Yikes. Another nice little ash tree. And back in here, this is a rather large Paw Paw patch growing back here behind this cherry that I pointed out earlier. I think it's a cherry. But yeah, all these little trees back in here, this whole thing in front of me, these are all Paw Paws. The problem is they don't produce much fruit because I'm pretty sure this is a single clonal group, or maybe there's a second clonal group in here, but they produce plenty of flowers but very few fruits, and that's pretty much because all these trees are probably part of the same root system. they're all clones of each other. And because of that, as I said, they're kind of not so known for being self-fertile. Yeah, because I can't see any fruit on these. Usually if I see any fruit on this tree, it's within the, it's down in there and on the other side of that big tree in there. Yeah, but they're getting bigger, and I've planted several seeds in here hoping to create some genetic diversity so that when I do come back in 5 or 10 years, maybe they'll be better at, you know, producing fruit. But yeah, there's a whole heck of a lot of them back here. There are just tons of Paw Paws right in this patch. And actually the fruits that it does produce, they're actually one of the better tasting ones that I found in the area. Look how big those leaves are. My goodness. Yeah, they have a kind of a tropical look to them. But like I said, one of my favorite little trees. One of my favorite snacks in the fall. They only really produce fruit for about a month, you know, right in around September. Right after Labor Day is when I usually go out looking for them. And then by the first week of October, they're pretty much almost all gone. So, yeah, if you want to get some Paw Paws, if you ever want to go out and look and find the trees, like I said, here's the leaves. They're alternating. They're very large leaves. They start out skinny, and then they get wider, and then they go to a point. Once you get familiar with them, it's almost impossible to mistake them for anything else. I mean, hickory is about the closest thing, but then they have leaves that have multiple off of one, kind of like an ash tree and stuff. But yeah, once you're familiar with Paw Paws, you just can't really mistake them for anything. Plus, if you crush the leaves, I hear, let's see. Oh yeah, ooh, that's a stinky smell. It smells kind of like motor oil. I mean, kind of like some kind of nasty motor oil. But that's a good thing for the Paw Paw because it's got chemicals in it, acetogenins, I think it's called, that make them practically immune to most pests. There's only one species that is known to actively consume this plant, and that's one of the swallowtail butterflies. I think it's the zebra swallowtail. Yeah, I'm not sure, but it's exclusive to that specific tree. It doesn't survive off of anything else. But the deer don't tend to browse it because they don't like that taste. That nasty motor oil taste is probably very off-putting, and plus there's those neurotoxic chemicals. I believe they're neurotoxic. So yeah, it's a nice little tree to have around. You can plant them in your yard. They're generally in the wild, they're an understory tree. They don't really like to grow in full sun out in the wild. But if you plant your own, you can, you know, train them. You have to keep them shaded for the first year or two till they get some woody growth. Plant them in full sun like any other orchard tree. And then, oh my gosh, they bush out. They get a lot bushier and bigger, not all skinny and lanky like these. They look like any other tree, and they produce a lot more fruit that way. I think we've got a cucumber tree here. See the big leaves on that? Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's a cucumber magnolia, which aren't too common. I mean, they're not exactly what I'd call rare, but I love all these grand old, oh God, I can't even, the name's just eluding my brain. Poplar trees, yellow poplar. They're one of my favorites because the trunks are usually real narrow and real straight, or not narrow, real straight. I got a sumac tree above me here. Yeah. At least I'm pretty sure it's a sumac. I don't think it's a tree of heaven. The bark doesn't look right. Because we got both in this area. Now the sumac is native and the tree of heaven is invasive. Oh, we got a little, oh, look at that. Beautiful. Nice little buckeye trees in this area too, which I really like. I mean, at first when I first saw them, I thought I was hoping they were chestnut, but now they're buckeyes. And there's actually some really big ones here too, but mostly we just got the little ones. So a lot of interesting stuff to see. We got jewelweed. Jewelweed here, it's good for poison ivy if you get poison ivy, you just crush some of that jewelweed up and put it on like a salve, and helps keep the irritation down. More elm, more maples. A lot of maples in here. Wow, there's a big, I think that's a hickory tree. I'm not sure, but you see those shelf mushrooms up there? Probably hard to see them, but those are huge. Those things are bigger than my face. It's like, oh my goodness. Yeah, it's kind of interesting. Living in Pennsylvania is actually a very pleasant thing because you've got so many of these little trails just everywhere. I mean, everywhere, literally. And I never get bored of hiking them. There's always something amazing, beautiful just around the corner. Ah, God, bug got right in my freaking eye. Get the heck out of my eye, bug. Why they do that is beyond me. It's like they go right there for that moist. I'm afraid to like go in there and lay their eggs, and ugh, nasty. Oh, we got a nice little sulfur creek down here. All the rocks are kind of tainted and tinted yellow, which makes me think that there must have been a mine up the creek a ways, because it's one of the ones around here that is still obviously kind of yucky. I mean, I've never seen a fish in it, so I'm thinking that maybe it's too polluted. More nice garlic mustard. Oh, get off of there, bug. Don't want to eat you too. Don't need that extra protein there. I guess I just like all the different flavors of a lot of these plants. Yeah, and then spice bush, that's another. A lot of spice bush everywhere in Pennsylvania, at least in my area. Now these leaves are good to eat too, but they're a little tangier. I'm gonna try one just to see, because it's so nice and tender. Oh yeah, definitely spice bush. You can't mistake that taste for anything. Ooh, oh my goodness. Startled me. A little mole just ducked into his hole right there. You can see he dug across the road. I was just standing here and he just ran out from next to my foot and he jumped down his hole. I was like, woo! Startled me. Same, ooh. Man, that spice bush is a little too powerful for me. It's good though. I mean, they used it back in the old days a lot for, you know, cakes and stuff like that. And they've used it in place of nutmeg and stuff like that. So, well, I'm almost at the end of the trail. Darn spider webs everywhere. I should have brought a stick with me and waved it in front of me. But yeah, like I said, it's just amazing to me back here in my area, southwestern PA, that there's just so many wild edibles. So many, I mean, you could practically live off of the land here. But you got to know your stuff. You definitely don't want to just go around eating it, nibbling on anything. Because there are several toxic plants here that you do not want to mistake. You don't want to eat those and get yourself killed. Oh, some more of that honeysuckle bush. I think it's a Japanese invasive variety. All right, back to the parking lot. Let's just go over to the bridge real quick, and then I think I'll probably just end it for today, and I'll maybe make another video tomorrow that I'll upload. Read from my little journal there, you know, share some insights, and maybe catch a fish or two with a red bud. But thought we'd just go over here, like I said, to the bridge real quick. Nice little view. You can see the Pennsylvania Keystone on the old bridge. You can see it's also crumbling. But as you can see, like I said, this creek is just filled with some kind of yellow muck, which I think is probably sulfur. And it's probably from a mine up the river or up the creek a ways. It's a shame because it's a really beautiful little creek, but as I said, I've never seen a fish in here. I have seen insects. There's a couple water striders and beetles and stuff, but other than that, I've never seen a single fish, not even a minnow or nothing in here. So I'm thinking it's probably, oh, that's a good sign. You see a lot of that moss growing in there. And I have to admit, it's not quite as yellow and nasty as it used to be. So maybe it's actually getting better. Because I know the quality of the rivers here has improved. Like the Monongahela River downstream here from the Cheat. It definitely has gotten a lot healthier. Yeah, look here, we got us a bunch of Dame's Rocket, which is a nice edible plant. Now you got to be careful. It's got 4 petals. It's got 4 petals, while I think Phlox has 5. But otherwise they look very similar, almost identical. But Dame's Rocket is another edible. So, well, that's all I'm going to do today. So I hope you enjoyed my little romp out here in the woods by the Cheat River, and I guess I'll talk to you guys later. So, you know, if you like what you see here, or if you want to see more, feel free to subscribe to the channel, leave a comment if you like, and we will see y'all later, probably tomorrow. All right, bye now.